All right. Welcome back. Welcome in. You found us once again. Shoot the Cat, Abbott Fantasy Football Focus Show, here to help you to be gruntled with your fantasy football team and your fantasy football decisions. Yeah, we are back. This is a special. This is March 15th, the Ides of March, and we're doing a special free agent show. In fact, to make it special, I'm happy to introduce, well, let me say who I am. I'm Brian the Amigo Baldwin. Thank you for watching. But I'm going to jump over Connor and go straight to the special guest, the OG, the original co-host of the show, Ethan, the Doc Marshall. How you doing, Ethan?
Doing good. Thank y'all for having me. We've been talking quite a bit of fantasy, so it just makes sense to hop on here and do it.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you back, man. To have the boys are back in town type of thing. We got the band back together. Yeah. And of course, in the middle, or wherever, I don't know what the range is. On mine, it's in the middle. But the dude with the shades on, long hair. Yeah, Connor.
The gut.
Marshall. Yes.
What's up, guys? And I'm on the right on the screen that they will be seeing. And it's good. It's good to be back. I'm super happy to have the three amigos together. We're gonna have a good episode tonight, guys.
Yeah. And so this is a different episode. Okay, so we've said before, and whenever we ended our last show, that if anything happens in the off season, that's important, that we'd pop in. And boy, man, there's been a lot of things happening. So here we go. So it's not a traditional episode, so there's not gonna be any good news and everything like that. We're gonna just jump straight into the free agent moves and trade news, and just basically what's happened in the past couple of weeks. Just because it's time, it's time. We need to talk about it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to go ahead and throw something out, and I guess whoever feels it, wherever the spirit moves you, just go ahead and do that. So let's just start with some trades that happened. Something that happened before the Ides of March, which was DJ Moore. DJ Moore being traded to Chicago. Mixed reviews on that. Yeah, what's y'all's thoughts on that?
I like it. I like him. I like the fit. He's good at blocking, so he's probably gonna. The Bears are trying to get more physical. I think it's a good pickup.
Yeah. So. Ethan, where do you think you'd draft him?
I mean, they have a need at wide receiver, right? Like beyond DJ Moore, is Darnell Mooney still there, or was he? Yeah, no. He's still there. Okay, so you've got some good options there.
One more. The one that whenever they traded for him last season, they were like, "We're excited from bringing in."
So forgetful. Their second round pick, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. I
Just
mean, that could be. Yeah, sorry. I disrespect. But that could be a sneaky good receiving core. DJ Moore has been good. It's just he's had what quarterbacks have been playing for the Panthers over the last year?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So, do you think that Fields then can unlock DJ Moore?
Yeah, and I've added them both to my list of way too early fantasy football players that are on my radar.
I've been excited about Justin Fields. I had him last year. I got a ring that's on order because of him. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, and DJ Moore, that'd be great to get that stack. I think it's a great move. I'm excited about it. I think that was what Chicago's missing. They're kind of building a team. If you're noticing all the moves that they're making, a lot of the stuff that they did, though, we're not going to talk about in this show because there's a lot of offensive tackle, defensive lineman type stuff. Yeah. And we're trying to keep it within reason. We got a lot to talk about, so not so much on that front. There's a little bit sprinkled in, but not so much. I would say, okay, give me a round, Connor, that you would draft him in at 12.
DJ?
Yeah. At 10-man. Screw that. Yeah, 10-man.
10-man?
Yes.
I feel like the 5th is the earliest at this point. I don't think I'd be comfortable doing a 4th.
Ethan?
That's exactly where I was thinking, kind of right in the heart of the maybe early mid rounds. I mean, it depends on if if people are making runs at receivers, you might have to pay up. But I'm fine paying up as high as the 4th round for him.
Wide receiver 2 or flex? Ethan.
I'll take 2. I'll
Two?
take him as a 2. He's been a 2 before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Stay like that, Connor. You agree?
I would put him as a flex, but I see the pathway for him being a 2. That's just me being more conservative.
Right. Derek Carr. Derek Carr, yeah, man. He got signed to New Orleans. Yeah, so how do you feel about that? I mean, so there's a wave, there's a lot of emotion okay, through this whole offseason with the Saints. Okay, we'll just cover the Saints all in right now. Okay, so Derek Carr to the Saints. Okay, at that time, Michael Thomas's contract was being restructured because he was going to get cut. Now they're keeping him. Does that, Ethan? Do you think it's going to do anything to Olave? What's your thoughts on Olave?
I mean, I still like Olave because I think in conversation you brought this up. Thomas's just bad history of injuries and has not shown us anything for years now that's not what happens every single year. But then the other thing is that, you have Derek Carr coming in, so arguably better quarterback play than they've had. He's not, a world beater, right? But he's more competent, I would say, than Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton and the like.
Hey, and Voldemort.
Yeah, Sam Voldemort. Yeah. See, y'all call him Voldemort. I call him, y'all know the other name I call him. I don't know.
Connor. Okay, Connor. Do you feel the same? And follow up. I have a follow up question.
I concur.
Okay. Juwan Johnson. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about Juwan Johnson. All right. So this guy last year he was, I believe it was averaging 12 yards a reception. Okay. And Waller 3 years ago, whenever he was Derek Carr's favorite target, he averaged 11 yards per reception. So based on what we've seen with Juwan Johnson and how the tight end position is, where do you put him? I mean, he's not tight end 1 or 2 or 3. I guess if you put Kittle up there, or 4. I mean, where do you put him? Tight end what?
I don't really know where I'd put him. But I do have a segue into some other tight end conversations, but I don't really have anything about him.
Boo, Ethan. Same question.
I while the gut was talking, I was trying to look at the numbers that the receiving options in Vegas put up last year.
Yeah.
Because think about it, you had Adams, you had Renfro, you got Waller. And so go to New Orleans, you've got Thomas, you've got Olave, and you've got Juwan Johnson. It's not encouraging. Obviously, Carr was able to support Adams to have a 1,000+ yard season, and you were fairly happy with that pick. The question is, though, I don't know if Carr is going to be good enough to support another wide receiver and a tight end because he hasn't shown necessarily that he can do that yet.
Right. He normally targets one person, and we don't know who it is. Just the person that fits closest to the mold of his favorite target last year, Devontae Adams, is, of course, Olave. So, if you're going to take a shot, I think that would be the one. I would, he would be a good low, mid, right? A tight end, right? After the first wave goes through. If you want to take a shot, I mean, I would like to put him on the bench and see what happens. I don't want to put that on my starting lineup, and see what happens. But it's definitely intriguing. Another thing intriguing, Connor, hopefully you can answer this one. Jamal Williams to the Saints. Okay. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, and that's a really big move because everyone was talking about picking up Kamara after he comes back from his suspension, and this changes all of that. I was kind of thinking big picture. I was thinking too, because Derek Carr's there now, and he's not the best quarterback in the world, but he's an upgrade from what they had before. And Kamara was really good when he had a good quarterback throwing him the ball. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they're going to use more 2 running back. Maybe they're going to get back to what the Saints do well, do more 2 running back sets, have Kamara used more as a vertical weapon. Derek Carr can definitely throw him the ball. I think Jamal Williams, if you're getting him, it's a big early season push because you're banking on him being super good before Kamara comes back. And you're probably going to have contingency plans for when he peters off.
So, you're saying that it's a pick up and trade type of situation. I mean, like you can,
you could do that.
Draft him and trade.
You could do both, just so you have you have the whole situation.
All right, Ethan, you're the one that broke the news to everybody in our chat. Yeah, you're the guy who let us know about this with Jamal. Was it? No, it was not you. It was Connor. It was Connor, but it was to the Lions.
I said it wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Lions and the Saints. Yeah, sounds so much alike. Yeah, and they're so close together, like
geographically, and the uniforms look so similar.
Right, exactly. I mean,
they have similar play styles.
Completely. Ethan, when you read about Jamal Williams going to the Saints, what was your first thought? Okay, I mean, don't analyze it. I know you're a professor and you live your life of academia in the mind and analyzation. All right, I know that. Okay, but when you saw it, what was your first thought when you saw it?
Psyched about it. Kamara was not good last year. He played in 15 games, didn't break 1,000 rushing yards, and his lack of use in the receiving game was so disappointing. And it's not like they had a wealth of other options. There wasn't another Jamal Williams on the team. I can easily see Jamal Williams being the guy on the goal line. Kamara maybe serving at between the 20s, right? And then Williams is going to get all of the really high value touches. And that's exactly what he did in with the Lions. Battling, I mean, Swift kind of fits the same bill as a Kamara. He's a pass-catching running back, right? Makes a lot of his worth off of pass catching. And Williams is a good, so I'm not even about getting rid of Williams when Kamara comes back. I think Williams is going to be a great pickup.
No, yeah, I think that's a really good comp. Carry on. He's a lot like Kamara. Gets a little more injuries to his body during the season, but causes a little less injuries to other people's body not during the season.
One word answer to each one of you guys. Ethan, is Kamara getting suspended next season?
Yes, I would say yes.
And Connor, same question.
Look, as someone that has not only a black and gold ring because of Kamara, but a tiny little Kamara figure, I have this now. I love Kamara. Kamara's my guy. He's totally getting suspended. He fucked up. He has nothing left but to ball hard and just to just regroup, bro. Just
Ethan, it's funny you say that, Connor, because he's the reason that I lost my first championship game.
So I remember.
It was on like Christmas Day. He had 6 touchdowns.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you did that, bro.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you're here, Ethan. So you can share what I'm going through whenever I ask Connor a question, and he starts picking up figurines and rings. You're like, dude, I just said one word answer, man. That's all I said. And you're like, look, I got the action figure. I'm like,
yeah. You know what? But he got it.
Yeah.
I wish that I had Kamara on the team so I could say the same thing.
Right. Yeah. So Jamal Williams should be at least an early value, usage, because Kamara is going to get suspended. We don't know how long, but even when he comes back, he'll be rusty. And he didn't really seemed like the wheels are starting to come off. So yeah, Jamal Williams actually might be a better value than people are thinking right now. Moving on, let's go to Dallas. Let's talk about Dallas. Yeah, man. They informed Ezekiel Elliott that he will be designated a post June 1st cut. Okay, so of course his release will leave Tony Pollard. Okay, at the top of the depth chart. Now I do want to tell you. Okay, and this is I'm gonna be interested. Okay, I asked two people that I respect: my brother, okay, and my friend that lives in Dallas. Everybody knows Brock. Yeah, the commish. You know, he comes in from time to time. I asked them what their thoughts were on this move regarding Pollard. Okay, I'm not going to reveal what they told me. I'm going to be curious as to ask you your thoughts on Pollard, Ethan.
Man, if there's not another big splash at running back, I mean, he needs to be talked about in the high half of the first round. I think.
Can he be a workhorse?
I think so. With that line, for a year at least, because the Cowboys are in such win now mode that can produce really beautiful things for fantasy football.
Like his style is kind of, herky jerky, quick, shifty. I mean, is that something that would be good for a Bell? Ethan, you look like you got some thoughts.
I mean, the durability thing has yet to be. It's hard for me to make a claim about his durability because he's been good, right? But of course, that's with Zeke there. I guess to me, the moves that they've made, the coaching staff, obviously they want to run the ball. And if you have the option to get the guy at that thing, I think I'm willing to overlook some of because think about the running backs are going to go in that first half anyways. Taylor, he had injury problems all last year. Christian McCaffrey is notorious for it. And
Derrick
Henry, all those
Cook,
guys have injury
Javonte
concerns. So to me, Pollard is injury concern plus he's never been the dude. But you could probably get him less than those other guys, but I think he has the same potential as them.
All right. So would you be drafting him as an RB1, RB2, flex? What do you think? Or where do you thinking where he's going to go?
He's an RB1.
I could down roll with him as my RB1 if things stay as they are.
Yeah.
Okay. To reveal the answer, my brother was super excited. He's like, "Oh man, Pollard's going to be a stud." He was super excited, and that's saying a lot because my brother's a really busy guy, and I rarely talk. He rarely responds to me between January and I think July. Yeah, I'm kind of like that distant brother that you don't want to talk to because I might borrow money from. That's how he treats me. Okay, he'll talk to me to make sure I'm alive, but not too much because you might ask me for money. I don't, but I'm just saying that's how he treats me. But and of course during fantasy season, I'm on the phone with him every other day, talking to him for hours, whatever. But he was really excited, so for him to respond, that was a big thing. That showed he was really excited. Barack, he said no. He says that Pollard cannot handle being a lead back. He's best in a running back by committee situation, and he says that Dallas they have the 26th pick. Okay, of this year's draft. Bijan. No, they're gonna have to trade up. Because they're gonna trade up and get Bijan. That's what he's saying. Okay,
if that happens, I would not take Pollard in the first round. I just want to go on the record saying that.
Okay, if that happens, just Bijan. Are you still excited about him if he goes to Dallas?
Oh, totally.
Either that, or we're having a staring contest.
The last thing that was caught was me saying, "Oh, totally." Let's just run it from there.
Okay. Moving on. Okay. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the big news. Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers. Jets. Go.
Draft the guys that he throws the ball to.
Are you worried about Allen Lazard? Okay, Allen Lazard was on his supposed list that he's debunked since, but there was basically what I heard was that, and this is based on what Rodgers said, is they asked him who would he like to play with, and he said, "Oh, this is who I would like to." He didn't come in with a list saying sign these guys. He just said he liked Randall Cobb, Allen Lazard, Mercedes Lewis, and OBJ. So then of course shortly after that they signed Allen Lazard. So But with Alan Lazard there being a considered favorite target of Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, excited?
Yeah. I still think he's higher on the list than Lazard. I think Lazard, he brings a lot to the table, but he's a really good blocker. So he's going to be the blocking wide receiver. I think Wilson's got more speed, and, he's got a good release on his routes. Rodgers is going to have a lot of fun throwing him the ball.
Same thing, Ethan?
Is Elijah Moore still with the Jets?
Yes, he is, unfortunately.
Yeah, see, the thing is, Elijah Moore, from my understanding, had some attitude issues last year. And especially with someone like Aaron Rodgers, I can't see that. Right? So I'm just gonna brush Elijah Moore aside for a second and just look at Lazard and Garrett Wilson. I think that Lazard is going to be kind of like a safety net to help Rodgers transition into the get acquainted with the new players. I could see drafting Lazard and then trading him early because he'll probably be relied on early while he gets acclimated to Wilson. And maybe Wilson doesn't start out hot, but you can trade low for him and hope by the end of the season things improve. I also wouldn't hate drafting Rodgers in the later rounds as a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like let's say you get one of your guys early and you want a solid backup, I can see Aaron Rodgers, man, being sneaky. If he hasn't had a good troop of wide receivers in a minute. So
yeah. Or healthy. That stayed healthy for a while. Yes. Yeah. That's a really good point. Yeah, I like everything you're saying there, and all that makes sense. I myself am looking at Garrett Wilson. I'm excited about it. I'm not even looking at the Lazard thing. If you watch, it's been a few months now, so now it's easy for things to start fading. Like the excitement of last season was starting to fade out. But if you look at game tape of him or just watch highlights, you'll remember how all he needed was a good quarterback and he was going to explode. And Rodgers already shown that he will rely on the best pass catching player, no matter if they're a vet, if they're a rookie, because Christian Watson was his favorite target. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's how he's going to look at Wilson. So I'd be really excited about that. Of course, that means that on Green Bay now Jordan Love now is the quarterback. Okay, so let's go ahead and real quick let's talk about that. Oh, and by of course extension Breece Hall.
I was already excited about him. I'm even more excited.
Yeah, right. How would you feel about having Garrett Wilson on your fantasy team and Breece Hall? I mean, how would you feel about having those two guys? Because we're both equally excited about both guys. So, anybody? No.
I don't like doing that.
Who would you choose over? Who would you choose?
Probably the running back because they're hard to come by.
Are there concerns about Breece Hall early in the season? Because was it Breece Hall that had the same injury as the running back from the Ravens?
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins, where he was supposed to be ready to start at the beginning of the season but didn't?
No.
See that, of course. Good question. I should have qualified it saying that if Breece Hall is playing in, OTAs, training camp, if he's showing and you're getting all reports that he's cool to go. I mean, if he's hurt, if he's injured, of course, that's different.
Yeah.
But it's as if he was excited. I myself would do it. I would do it. I would do that because it's dumb not to. Okay, if you have good value there and you're like, oh, they're on the same team, and hey, one of the guys that came a breath away from the championship game in our league was playing both Metcalf and Lockett on the same team and being successful. So it doesn't matter having two players on the same team. I'm not of that ilk, of that. I just don't do that, So if it's the best value, I would say don't worry about the team, but it's all how you feel. Aaron Jones, thoughts on Aaron Jones? What does that do for Aaron Jones?
Not interested. That's what it does for me.
Okay.
A lot of Aaron Jones' value came from being the pass catching back from Rodgers. I don't know in the few was only like a few games where we saw Jordan Love. I know that there's the like young quarterbacks tend to lean on their tight ends quite a bit. And also it's like a dump off. And they did just sign Aaron Jones, so they gave him money. They gave him a bag of money. It's just the offense doesn't really excite me all that much right now.
Yeah, plus he's getting
scoring
older.
opportunities.
There's going to be less scoring opportunities. The quarterback also likes to run the ball more than Rodgers, so that's less rushing attempts for Jones.
Any of you guys... Go ahead.
Sorry, the last thing, the teams are getting better in the NFC North as well. The Bears are loading up on their defense.
Very good point.
The Lions have a formidable defense. The Vikings, yet to be seen, but
they
the
can
Bears
score a lot of
and
points.
Lions,
Yeah. Well, it's basically, this is what you're being. These are the two things. It's like, oh, it's great for Aaron Jones. He's going to be relied on, so he's going to be a great fantasy force.
He's going to be scripted out of games.
It's bad for Aaron Jones because of scoring opportunities and everything you guys eloquently said. So yeah, there's really are two waves of beliefs. I'm with you guys because Aaron Jones also has AJ Dillon to deal with. So he was already kind of like to begin with because of that, and now you add that he's a year older. We don't have Rodgers. Yeah, it doesn't look like something I'd want to invest in too early in the rounds. Christian Watson, you guys excited about Christian Watson? Just real quick. I'm different. Excellent. I am so glad to hear that. I am different. I am excited about Christian Watson. Why? Because in the games that Jordan Love played, he only had eyes for one man, and that man was Christian Watson. Yes. Yeah, so he's going to be that guy who he focuses on. Christian Watson is going to be that player that's on a bad team that scores a lot, and you're like, how is that happening? In fantasy. It's going to be Christian Watson. Watch, dude. And he has that game-breaking ability to where he can just take one shot and just take it. In fact, the touchdown that he scored with Jordan Love was a dump off. Like, it was like about a 10-yard dump off, and he went across the middle, and his speed outran everybody. So it's already happened, so I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Christian Watson. Juju Smith-Schuster, let's talk about him. Going to the Patriots. Yeah, 3-year contract. Yeah, so they lost Jacoby Myers, so let's go ahead and make sure and say that, okay? We could talk about that all together if you want to, where Jacoby Myers went. That'll be fine with me. Y'all's choice. But thoughts, Connor, on the Juju? You drafted him last year. I mean, you excited about Juju? What are you thinking?
No. I'm usually bored with guys that end up on the Patriots for a lot of reasons. They're, for fantasy purposes, they're not that exciting. Their uniforms don't look that cool, and generally, it's a lot of like, it's not stars. It's like a system. He's probably going to be the one, but
oh, definitely.
He's definitely going to be the one. It could be a similar thing to the opportunity, but he doesn't have that game-breaking ability like Christian Watson does. I would definitely go Christian Watson over Juju if that's kind of a line. I don't know if they're going to go in the same place.
Any thoughts, Ethan?
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled on Juju. I think that it's weird that they would go give a bag of money to Juju and not just pay Jacoby Myers to stick around.
Yeah.
I'm not in on him.
Let me ask you a question, Ethan. Who let the dogs out?
Maybe me. I don't know.
Yeah. Why don't you go let them back in, dude? Why don't you go do that? Yeah. Yeah, we'll take it.
This sounds like a good time for a word from our sponsor.
Go.
High Volume Music Radio, the pride of Sunnyside. Shows like Rock and Roll Radio, Bring Back the A-Track, the Brown Sugar Express, and Blame It on the Boogie with Aunt Boogie. Log in now at highvolumeradio.com. And remember, if it ain't high volume, it ain't loud enough.
Now back to Shoot the Gap with your host, Brian, the Amigo Baldwin.
All right. Thank you to Barack for making that commercial for us. And shout out to High Volume Music Radio. Me and Brian have actually both been playing there recently. I just played a show there this last Saturday. I was practicing there. And I actually got to see you, Brian, because you were practicing there right when I got done practicing.
Yep, that's right. Exactly right. One and one. Yeah.
1 and 1.
yeah. So now the you said the Patriots were not okay. Juju Smith-Schuster, I think he's going to be basically what he's always been. He's going to be the number one, but for a lesser quarterback from what he had before. And so if you're excited about that,
He's going to catch a lot of 4-yard passes.
we'll see. He's worth having on your bench if you have a 12-man. 10-man. There's probably better things out there, unless it's later down in the where it becomes an extreme value. But you mentioned Connor. You said there's no superstars. I argue that there is one, Ramondre Stevenson. Okay, so I because Damian Harris is going to leave. That's at least that's a report. Reportedly, he's going to leave, and to even show that that's what's going to happen, the about a few minutes before the show went on, came the report about James Robinson signing with the Patriots. Okay, so now you're going to have Patriots with Robinson, and of course with the with Pierre Strong. Is that right? Is that one of the guys? And the other rookie running back, now sophomore, whatever. You're gonna have those guys and James Robinson. Are you worried at all? Is that gonna take any hit on Stevenson? If you're a Stevenson believer, would that take a hit? Ethan, what do you think?
No, I like Ramondre Stevenson. He's probably the only Patriot I'm targeting, unless, like you mentioned, Juju drops to like a very, very low cost, like bordering on like double-digit rounds, which that's not going to happen because he's going to be the one for a team. Ones don't fall that far.
That's right. And I'm sure Ramondre Stevenson's also a cool guy too. Yeah. Connor, how do you feel about Ramondre?
Yeah, good old Dre Stevenson. I definitely would be in on him. I agree with you guys. Because you believed in him last year and I didn't, and I feel like I've missed out. So I'm gonna jump on the hype train.
Okay, what happened in my league last season was my brother drafted Ramondre Stevenson, and that's whenever they had Damian Harris and they also had Ty Montgomery. Okay, and so Ty Montgomery was the receiving guy, and so for the first couple of games, Stevenson wasn't seeing any love at all. And my brother is a very he's kind of like a chihuahua almost with fantasy. He's very skittish, and so he saw that, and but he also has bad luck. And what he did real quick was that I won't take too much of the show time, but this was funny. Is that he talked to me about it? He's like, I'm going to drop Ramondre Stevenson and pick up I forget who. And I told him, no, dude, hold on to him. You just don't know what's going to happen. It's a long season. He drops him, and so I waited a little bit to see if he was going to change his mind. Waited a couple hours. 2 or 3, and he works. He has weird shifts. This time it was in the morning, so he had to go to sleep early. And dude, about 2 hours after he dropped him, came the news that Ty Montgomery was on the IR. And that now it's going to be Ramondre Stevenson. So that's why I picked him up. Yeah, it was because he was just sitting there. I was waiting for my brother to pick him up, but he has the worst luck. He carried him all the way those 2 games for crap. Drops him 2 hours later. He becomes a thing.
If you didn't pick him up, someone else would have.
Absolutely, and I'm glad I did. Yeah, so I really like Ramondre. I'm excited to plan for him. There's some defensive news. Darius Slay, he's going to get released from the Eagles. I would be really nervous about that Eagles defense. Everybody, I know last year they were really good, but this year they lost that. I know Bradbury is coming back, but still, they're losing very, very big pieces. Jadeveon Clowney is being released from Cleveland. That's only mentioned because, we're from Houston, so that's the only reason why I want to mention that. But Miles Sanders. Let's talk about Miles Sanders. Okay, so he has agreed to terms on a contract Wednesday with the Carolina Panthers. Okay, so Connor, are you expecting lead back duties for him, or what do you think? What are you expecting to see out of Miles Sanders in Carolina?
Oh gosh, I really hope you get to see lead back duties from him, because the Panthers have surprisingly been able to produce a lot of good running backs for fantasy football, even in a post-McCaffrey era. And I definitely think that's a possibility if you give Sanders, he can be a 3-down back. He can be that guy. He knows how to do everything. I think it'd be silly because he's so clearly better than all the other running backs they have on that team right now.
Ethan, anytime I think of Miles Sanders, I know that it was probably 3-4 years ago that we played in a league together, right? And you had Miles Sanders, and you got Boston Scott, I think it was, for a backup, and you wouldn't let the guy go just in case. So anytime I think of Miles Sanders, I always think about you. Okay, for some reason. So
I went running back in that draft.
You remember? I remember it fondly.
Yeah. I don't remember fondly. I remember.
Okay,
gotcha. One of them was McCaffrey.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that got everybody. Yeah. So Sanders. So with him in Carolina, do you expect him lead back? What are you looking at? Are running back 1, running back 2, flex? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that low end RB2 flex.
Okay.
And a lot of it is contingent on what they do because they've got Foreman and Hubbard that they've been, and Foreman, from my understanding, if I remember this correctly, Foreman was worth more than Chuba was.
Yes.
But Foreman is not young, and I think Sanders. It's hard to know whether they divided it up because the coach took a hot hand approach to things. I know that it wasn't that way when I had Sanders several years ago, but it's definitely been the way recently. So Sanders going to get the opportunity. I'm taking he's going to be like one of those running back dead zone running backs probably. So anywhere from the 4th to 6th round is where he's going to go. And it's worth that's the thing about running backs in those areas. I think he could be a top 12, but he's probably going to end up in RB2.
Above or below 800 yards did Sanders have last year?
Not yeah.
He had
over.
Huh?
He had over.
Yeah, it was 1,000. Over 1,000.
It's touchdowns. That's why he wasn't worth much.
That's right. Because that's the Phillies way. Yeah, right, the Philly way, right. Now he's going to be going to the Panthers. I think this guy actually might be one of those ones that kind of pop that you don't expect it to happen because you're like, going to Carolina Panthers. We know who they are, whatever. This is one of those ones where it's an advantage if this is your first year ever playing fantasy football because you don't know who Miles Sanders is. And you're just looking at situations and you're like, why is everybody skipping him? I'm going to draft him, So, yeah, it's one of those things.
Do you think if the Panthers pick up a running quarterback, that's going to affect your view of Miles Sanders at all?
One of the best, I think that do we agree that Miles Sanders has pass catching ability?
Yeah.
Do we agree? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I've said this for years, is that the best friend to a rookie quarterback is a pass catching. All right. And so I think that he's going to be used quite a bit. And Carolina, they not only signed him, they signed Hayden Hurst. Okay, which tight ends?
Nice.
A really good tight end with good hands is also a good friend of a rookie quarterback. They signed the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. Yeah, yeah. So to be back up,
and he's old, so he's going to be checking it down to the tight end and the running back.
See, yeah. So it's looking like
he didn't do that in with the Saints.
That's true, Dalton, but the Panthers don't have Olave.
Yeah, but there's also Andy Dalton. I think is more of a mentor. Yeah, they're probably going to, whoever they draft, they're going to put him in the beginning. I mean, why not? Why not? It's the beginning. It's not like they're on the cusp of anything. It's all big rebuild. So why not start off with your guy? Just go ahead and do it that way and start it off that way. And if there's a problem, then put Andy Dalton. Yeah, I don't think they have Super Bowl aspirations next year. So yeah, they're going to start that game. So they're building up. They're showing like they're trying to do something. I would be excited about Sanders. If he's available like round 7, I'd be super excited. You know,
Oh,
in
you
the
think he's
10
going to go that far?
I know. That's why I'd be
No,
excited
okay,
about
yeah.
it. Yeah.
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 That's, to me, I was thinking like if he was on the board in 4 or 5, and I already had a solid RB1, I'd have no problem having Sanders as my RB2.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. He can give you a good way to strategize about picking players you wouldn't normally pick high. 'Cause you have that shot because once you get past a certain round, all of them are pretty good shots, right? You know. So
And I think you'll be able to get him for flex pricing.
yeah, I agree. I agree. The Raiders, they traded tight end Darren Waller
I'm really excited about this.
to the Giants. Yes, in exchange for the 100th overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft. Okay, so Connor, you're excited. You're the first one to jump in. Take the lead. Sell me on it.
Yes.
Why are you excited?
I'm excited for a number of reasons. The Giants don't have anyone that is as good of a receiving threat as Waller is now, so Waller's the number one on the team already. And the Giants are in desperate need of a receiving option. The Giants are a great team, and I'm totally ready to jump on the Giants hype train. So there's that. Also, you know, you can make the argument, oh, you know, Waller, like, he's old, he's washed, he's getting injured. The Raiders cut him. But I'm not going to bet against Waller because I know he's a very hard worker. I know he is a pretty good guy off the field. He's got a great story. And I think that, like, you know, he fits so well with the Giants. And, you know, I mean, the Raiders, I would be happy. If I was him, I would be happy I got out of that situation. So I would be giving him my best shot. I think we're going to have a very good, strong season from Waller.
Feel the same, Ethan?
That means no.
Look
I
at
mean,
Professor.
no, I'm just trying to think. You know, Bellinger did well. He was okay.
Until he got
Waller is arguably a better pass catching option than Bellinger. I guess to me, it's just, you know, fear of his health
Yeah.
moving forward. And the
Yeah.
cost that it's going to be, and other tight ends that I'm a little more excited about that are probably going to go behind Waller.
Okay.
Just because of name recognition.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In the situation like what Connor was talking about, yeah, I can see that. I want to get excited. Okay, there's part of me that wants to get excited about, but for some reason, I guess it's the injury. You know, that's basically what it is. And Daniel Jones, I guess he's shown a proclivity to throw to the tight end. You know, but maybe not. I don't know. You know, I mean, I'm like you. I mean, it's not something I'm really excited about. He could turn out to be something good because he does. If it's anything like with the Raiders, Darren Waller is a thing when there's no clear-cut wide receiver one. Okay, when there's a clear-cut wide receiver one, then he's okay. That's why 3 years ago they didn't have a wide receiver. Like that was the one where their rookie running back or wide receiver like went drunk driving and got kicked out of the league. You know, so that's whenever he does well. There's not one there, so there's a pathway. I see the pathway. I'm still nervous about it. See the pathway. Does that open up things?
Caveat for my opinion. Connor,
Yeah.
have you drafted him before?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have, and I've gotten burned, so
I
that's
got
where
burned
my
too.
sentiment comes from.
I kind
picked
of got
it-
burned too.
Yeah, I picked him up because somebody dropped him. So that's the only reason why. But I drafted him way long. That was a long time ago. Let's just talk about the Raiders side of everything. So Jimmy Garoppolo is now a Raider. Okay, so without Waller and with Jimmy G. Okay, and are we excited about? Were we excited about Devontae Adams? Anybody
I
feeling
mean,
like it?
this is like the Josh McDaniels master plan because he now has Jacoby Myers, former Patriot. He has Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow. So he has 3 wide receivers that are really good route runners. And then he has his running back because Josh McDaniels historically loved to run the football with the Patriots. So now you have all those pieces, and you have Jimmy G, who's a former Patriot as well. Whenever McDaniels was over there, so he's gotten all his marbles back from the Patriots on his.
Damian Harris, he can grab him. I guess if you wanted to complete the trifecta.
No, you don't need him. He's not that important.
Okay. So you're saying that Devontae Adams, is he going to be okay with Jimmy G and Jacoby Myers now?
Bro, I think it's going to be what the Patriots were, boring for fantasy, because it's going to be hard to predict. I mean, Adams is obviously the guy, but I think you're going to have to overpay him, because Jimmy G doesn't have the connection that Carr did. I mean, you have to think, Carr was probably targeting him a little more because he was his teammate. Jimmy G, I mean, I think he's worse of a passer than Derek Carr. He's definitely more injury prone.
Yeah. Ethan, I mean, do you think that, like before all this thing, whenever there was a hint of Rodgers coming to the Raiders, Devontae Adams was considered one of these, you're going to draft this guy in the first round. He's one of those you don't worry about. You just you grab him, put him on your roster. You don't have to worry about that wide receiver position because you have a stud locking it down. Is that still the same thing now, or is he more like not even don't look in his direction in the first round?
He's entered the category of makes me concerned, right? Like, I don't feel great about the pick. I picked up Deebo Samuel last year in the third round. That was the way I felt about that pick. I didn't feel good about it, right? But he was there. He should have been taken. He was well behind ADP there when I was staring at him in the third round. So I took him, and I regretted it. And that was in a system that Jimmy G was in a system that literally plugged quarterback in, and they do good.
Yeah,
right.
Like, we haven't seen Jimmy G outside of. I mean, we saw him briefly in New England,
but that's also a system.
Exactly, with Bill Belichick, you know, one of the most winningest coaches of all time. So, of course, Josh McDaniels is in that school of thought, but just Jimmy G, what he can do to support all of those receivers, especially the price that Devontae Adams is gonna demand, I just don't. It makes me nervous, man.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, it's a different year. Yeah, new quarterback is different. You don't know what his tendencies are going to be. And like you said, Carr was super excited to play with his college teammate. So I would stay away from that. There's better value. He's probably, if you see him in the third round, are you picking him?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Ethan?
I think I'd have to, because he might be. The idea that you have Devontae Adams as your wide receiver 2.
That'd be so broken.
I mean, that the upside from that pick. You know what I mean? The upside at that level, I think I'd have to, but I just said I took Deebo Samuel in the third.
Yeah, I feel like Brian did that on purpose.
And Deebo Samuel was number 2 receiver the year before. So
any effect on Josh Jacobs with the signing of Jacoby Myers and Jimmy G coming into play? Is he a first round draft pick?
No.
Okay.
Not in my opinion.
No.
I would pick him up. He would have to be in conversation for the first 5 or 6 running backs off the board. I think Josh Jacobs would, just because what he did last year. And I just want to jump in too, because I was thinking about it. How does Devontae Adams do with mediocre quarterback play?
Yeah.
So in week 17 of last year, they had Jeremy Stidham starting for them. Mm-hmm. Y'all know what line Adams put up?
I'm going to guess under 70 yards.
153 yards, 2 touchdowns,
Ooh.
27.3 fantasy points.
Okay.
So, knowing that, Devontae Adams can ball out with Jeremy Stidham at the helm.
Jimmy G should be just fine.
Okay.
So, I know it's one game, very small sample size, but I had to look it up. Right, I had to look it up. How does he handle with Jeremy Stidham?
Garrett Wilson or Devontae Adams?
Devontae Adams.
Okay. There you go, Connor. Ethan?
Dang, that's such a good line, dude. That's such a good line. The fact that I have to think about it speaks volumes too about the situation.
Uh-huh.
I think Garrett Wilson has a higher ceiling. Devontae Adams has a higher floor.
Okay, so
And
which
it
one?
depends on what you want from that. If it's in the first round, I honestly in the first round I like to draft floor because I want consistency. With the one pick, I want to know that I'm getting points every week from it. So I think I'm going to be leaning towards Devontae Adams if if I'm having to take one of them in the first round.
Okay. Second round then. Both of them are there in the
Even
second
then,
round.
I can get consistency in the first 2 rounds. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty
Third
awesome.
round.
If
Third
they're
round.
both there, I'm always picking Devontae Adams.
I'm gonna find the line. Third round.
Why would you pick Wilson over Adams if they're both still available in whatever round you were in, though?
That's the question. Yeah, because he was talking about first round, second round. I was just wanting to see if there's gonna be a line, where you'd be like, okay, well, no, because Ethan admitted that
That was my brain doing what it did earlier. I guess in my head, what I'm thinking is early rounds. I want consistency. That's why the floor Devontae Adams. If both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson are on the board, I'm taking Devontae Adams.
I'm not. I'm going Wilson every time. Yeah, because of because of the age and you have Wilson going up like this, and you might have Adams coming down, and I'd rather take my shot with this. And I'm talking about second round. Yeah, because first round, if Garrett Wilson's down there and whatever Devontae Adams, that means that there's probably a good running back or something. There's gonna be something. But I think I would take. Let me ask you this: Hawkinson, T.J. Hawkinson, or one of those guys first round. What would y'all choose?
I would not get a tight end in the first round.
Okay, that's not a tight end. It's a wide receiver 2 for the Vikings.
I thought you said Hawkins. Oh, I see. You're being coy. Yeah.
Yeah, just like Kelsey's the wide receiver 1 for the Chiefs.
Well, then you pick the wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I would probably go Hawkins. I would probably go Hawkinson over all that, dude. Because again, you want consistency. You're gonna get it with high floor. But how about this guy, Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield to the Bucks. Okay, so what's your thoughts on that? When you saw that, but what's going on in y'all's noggins on that one?
I'm in on Rashad White.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it makes me upset for Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Although I was kind of off of them last year already, so it definitely didn't change that.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. I mean, he's expected to have a chance to compete for the starting job. Yeah, but the other quarterback is 2021 second round pick Kyle Trask. So who's had 9 career passes. So you tell me.
Florida, right? Florida quarterback.
Sure. Yeah. So but dude, when Mayfield started 5 games, okay, he got 2,163 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. I mean, he was looking kind of weird over there in the Rams. So, But if anything, it's a downgrade to Godwin. Evans.
Wait, by the time Mayfield was starting for the Rams, who were his receiving options?
Exactly. Allen Robinson was one of them.
Yeah, Allen Robinson. Yeah,
Higbee. And Allen Robinson's washed.
Oh yeah,
Higbee. Yeah. So probably some other guys. Yeah.
He did not have the cast of characters that they have in the Bucs. So maybe you're onto something there, amigo.
Hey, yeah. Hey, so might be good picks. We'll see. Yeah. So it might not be as much of a poo-poo. Running back David Montgomery. Yes, he's moved over to the Detroit Lions. So there's a lot going on with this. A lot going on with this move. Okay, I mean, it frees up somebody in Chicago we'll talk about in a second. But let's talk about specifically David Montgomery. Connor, you're the most excited. You're all in on David Montgomery. I'm excited about him than I wasn't when I heard that Jamal Williams was going to the line. But when that turned out not to be the case, then I got re-excited with
me too.
With Montgomery.
Me too.
So talk about why are you excited about D-Mo? What's the reason? Tell me.
Because I think Carry-On's gonna get injured. I think Emo made a really good joke.
Carry on?
Oh man, Swift.
Okay.
Well, because man, that takes you back. Well, because they both did the same thing. They were the promising running back that was supposed to be good, and there's always the pace they were on, and then they would inevitably get injured, and then that's both of them. And I think Swift is going to be Swift to get injured. But the joke is then maybe David Montgomery is going to do the same thing. But it's such a value. You're probably you talking the 6th to the 9th round. You're gonna get the guy. This is your running back 3 to 4. Montgomery.
Montgomery.
Yeah, I would pick Montgomery over Swift. If I had a choice between the two. Yeah, definitely.
I think Montgomery would do well.
Let's think about it this way too. They just got rid of Jamal Williams, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get rid of him. He went somewhere else. If Montgomery's getting plugged in to whatever role Jamal Williams was playing,
if he's the banger,
yeah, I mean that makes me a little more thrilled for David Montgomery.
No reason to think that he wouldn't be. It's almost like Jamal Williams plus. That basic. I mean, Williams had 17 touchdowns last season in this setup. And like you said, I mean the inevitability. Of Swift getting injured. I mean, it looks like this could be a really good, very, very good value. It opens up Khalil Herbert in Chicago. Are you excited about Khalil Herbert, even though they did sign Travis Homer?
Yes.
Homer's a depth piece does not make me concerned for Herbert.
Special teams, right?
That Bears offense is... I hope this isn't the offense we drool over all offseason to have it just totally look like absolute trash. Yeah.
The Broncos? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
They both have blue and orange.
Fields he showed out. My only concern, I think, for Herbert would be a similar situation to what Hurts is in the Phillies, where Hurts vultures touchdowns from running backs. But I think at the price Montgomery's not there anymore. The price Herbert's going to cost you, that's not a big that I'm okay with taking that risk.
Yeah,
because there's no way Herbert goes in the first 4 rounds.
So if you had the luck to have Justin Fields as your quarterback, would you be comfortable with Herbert as your running back?
You already know I don't like doing that.
Yeah, I should be talking just like Ethan. Yeah, just talking to Ethan because Connor has a line on that. Okay. All right.
I like to do the stacks. I don't like to do the positions that don't always work together.
Okay. Yeah, I like Herbert. I'm really excited about that if he comes back healthy. We'll see how his health is, but we'll take a look. Yeah, I don't think any dynasty managers of Khalil Herbert, when they got the news about the signing, I don't think any of them went dope. I don't think they did, dude. I think that they were okay with what happened. The Eagles, they picked up Rashad Penny. Okay, Rashad Penny has been shown to be like an incredible player whenever he's been given a chance. But now, Boston Scott, is there. I think Kenneth Gainwell's still there. And
Jalen Hurts.
Yes. Yeah. So thoughts on the Rashad Penny hiring? Is this our running back by committee, Connor?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a platoon. I mean, it's still a great offense with a great offensive line. And Penny, you're probably going to get him for pennies on the dollar. So, it could, I'm on.
Yeah, I didn't give the worst joke of the show.
No,
excellent.
It's always
Thank you.
It's always me.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I was leading there for about a minute.
I mean, penny might cost a penny. Looking at, we're talking might be the last pick of your
Double
draft. Oh yeah,
Gotcha.
always.
Yeah, I Ethan,
I've read The Art of War.
are you very good? Are you Ethan? Are you excited about Penny or about any of the running backs on Philly?
I think it's a good real football move for Philly because Penny can't stay healthy when he's the dude. So bring him into a situation where he shares the load with literally probably 3 technically other guys when we include Hurts, right? For fantasy, that makes me a little nervous because it's such a dart throw on who gets the touchdowns.
I can tell you one person you're going to get real excited about, Ethan. I'm talking to you, man. When because of the situation, Kenneth Walker.
Oh yes, yes. He was my boy, man, last year. Even though my teams were absolute trash, Kenneth Walker was not.
Hell yeah.
First round, Kenneth Walker.
Man, if it's because we play 10 team leagues.
Mm-hmm.
If we're getting around pick 7, 8, 9, if that's my first pick, I'm probably going Kenneth Walker there.
Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker.
Ooh, Connor, are you just as excited about Kenneth Walker? I do this too.
In this scenario, can Derrick Henry be on a better team with a better line?
Well, I mean, it's not. Well, it is fantasy football, so the plane. I mean, so
I'll give you the line. I'll give you the line within a line of a line. So if Henry's on a better team with a better line, I would pick him over Walker. But if Henry's on the Titans and the Titans don't do anything to address their line, I agree with the doc. I would pick Ken Walker over the Yeti.
Okay. Got a couple more, just a couple more to talk about, unless there's
Okay.
something I missed. Yeah. This next one, it doesn't seem like it was a big deal. Whenever I texted it to our group chat, you guys kind of yawned out on me. So, yeah, I didn't really get a response. But to me, I was excited about it. With Samaje Perine going to Denver. Yeah, on a 2-year, $7.5 million deal. Why am I excited about that? Well, Javonte Williams doesn't look like he's going to be ready to go. And now you have a Sean Payton offense that has historically featured the running back in a pass-catching running back, and that's exactly what Perine. So I'm really excited about Perine being there. And once Javonte Williams comes back, then of course it'll probably be going to how it was with the Bengals. But I'm excited about it. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Somebody? Yeah.
I think so.
Uh,
Let me ask a doctor. Doctor, am I crazy?
I don't think you are. When I saw that, you have to I forget that. Is it Williams? Is that his last name? There's so many different.
Yeah, Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams. Jamal Williams. They both have the same last name. All right.
Yeah.
You forget that he's might not be ready to go. You know what I mean? Like he got injured early last year. I think in my mind I'm just like a whole year is going to go by. He's going to be the dude, but that's not necessarily going to be the case. And it was actually, we were talking about Breece Hall. It was actually Javonte that I was thinking of who had the similar injury to J.K. Dobbins. It was not Breece Hall. It was Javonte Williams who had the injury that
Emo froze on my screen.
Yeah, but he's funny looking.
Okay, we got to wait for him to come back. He said something about Javonte Williams.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, look at his face. You can tell he's about to make a good point.
He's going to make a very good point.
I would say so. I mean, it looks like it's about to happen. Yeah, it looks like it's about to happen.
I'm back.
Okay,
Oh,
there he is.
Scowling at my analysis of
Yeah,
Samaje Perine. I'm like, Brian, you liked him. You should be enjoying my positive words.
Well, okay, how about this? We enjoyed your positive face. How about that?
Yeah. Oh, it was positive face. That's good.
yeah. It had a very hopeful face. It looked like you were
Was it
about to
like
make.
this?
No. It looked like you were about to make a very it should have been on a poster. Like come see Ethan the Doc Marshall speak. And have that face. That's what it
It was
looked
a
like.
positive. It means essentially saying that shame on me for not remembering that Javonte Williams might not be ready to go.
Right. Yeah. Bad juju on you. Now, one thing it does do, okay, is that okay? So we're all on board here. That's going to be some really good value there of a P. How about this P Ryan or David Montgomery?
David Montgomery.
David Montgomery. Okay, all right, because you're probably going to see them in the same area.
I think that P Ryan's going to go after David Montgomery.
You think so? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because P Ryan has been a career backup versus Montgomery, who's got starter recognition.
Okay. Okay. How about Miles Sanders or P Ryan?
There's the line.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders.
I think I'm gonna have to I'm gonna go out on a limb and say P Ryan there.
Okay.
Just because I think that the end of the season for the Broncos when the offense really started kicking,
mm-hmm.
and then you add Sean Payton to the mix and his affinity for pass catching running backs.
That's what I'm talking about. Yep. That's exactly what I'm looking at. Now, one thing it does do, okay, is that the move of P Ryan does, of course. Let's talk about Joe Mixon, because there was talk about Joe Mixon being released, and the Bengals just drafting a running back with the 28th pick. But does this move mean that he's staying? I mean, he did have this charges of aggravated menacing, was dismissed by a judge, but the judge did say that the charges can be refiled after further investigation. So he isn't out of the woods, and punishment from the NFL does remain a possibility. And so, does this mean that Joe Mixon's going to be okay?
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel we're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
It's a surprising move. It's a surprising move.
Yeah.
To get rid of I thought Mixon was going to be the guy that they got rid of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. In fact, the whole off season that I was hearing from a lot of the talking heads that I trust were saying, or I should say disembodied voice, because I don't really look at anybody. I just listen to them. Okay. So the disembodied voices that I listen to, okay, were saying that it was going to be Joe Mixon cut, and then P. Ryan was going to take over while they draft somebody that might, come in, later on. They were talking about the guy from a chain from A&M, because of how he is. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is that this might actually mean that Joe Mixon stay. That's what this actually might mean. Yeah. So
I hope he does.
Yeah. Okay, and we got one more, and then we'll wrap it up. And this is just real quick question for you guys. Minnesota Vikings. We already talked about they released Adam Thielen. Okay, all right. So, and he met with the Carolina Panthers on Wednesday. There was talk about him going to Buffalo. But let me ask you guys. All right, I'll ask you, Ethan, first, then I'll ask Connor. Which J does this news elevate? KJ Osborne or TJ Osborne or TJ
Hawkinson?
KJ Osborne or TJ Hawkinson?
All right, and do I?
I'm going to say Hawkinson.
Hawkinson? Okay, all right.
Same.
And yeah, even though that KJ balled out,
I think that's faking the fake. I think that's paying attention to the wrong thing on the offense.
What about him pulling a man out of a burning car last week? I mean, that doesn't give him any.
Look, it's really cool, but I mean, you yourself said TJ's the number 2 weapon on the offense. So
yeah,
by logic,
right.
I guess what he's saying is who's going to profit more from the absence of Thielen.
Probably Hawkinson, because he is a tight end. So, Thielen was doing a lot of that intermediate pass catching work.
I've also read rumors about other receiving options that have been on the free agency. I've read about Chark potentially going to the Vikings.
It's a good move.
So the fact that the Vikings are courting other potential third options makes me question how much they are in on. Of course, who knows how serious the talks are, right? But
yeah, if everything stays the way it is, of course. Yeah, I would say that it'd be Hawkinson. Hawkinson's biggest threat from stealing touchdowns away from him was Adam Thielen, because Adam Thielen and Kirk Cousins had some sort of mind meld or something like that. But then when Hawkinson arrived, then he became part of the target, the favorite target. Kind of coincided with Thielen going out, being hurt. and so you can kind of see what's going to be like. And so I think that Hawkinson. This is why I would say I would grab Hawkinson in the first round if I was looking for wide receiver, standard wide receiver help. Here in town, just real quick, I don't think there's anything of like exciting fantasy note. I mean, Case Keenum, Robert Woods, Andrew Beck. I mean, these are not guys these are ones that the Texans have signed, but I don't think these are ones that are going to move the needle fantasy-wise one way or the other. Would you guys agree with that? I mean,
yeah.
Damian Pierce or bust, right?
Yeah.
Or later on, if you in the 12-man, John Mechie the third, the wide receiver that is now coming back from leukemia. I think he's going to be.
I think if it's you are in the 10th, 11th, 12th round and you're just digging through the bones, and for some reason Bobby Woods is still there, I'd pick him up if he was around there that late.
There you go. Perfect. All right. Anybody else? Anybody that I missed? Any news that I missed?
Anything you got every single thing.
Yeah. Did we get it? Did we get it? Okay.
I think we got it all.
Okay, that was a lot.
That was a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
It's been a while since we've seen y'all, so we had to give you the whole thing.
It's been a while since it's been us three.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. So yeah. It's kind of nice that it's been a kind of elongated segment or a show because it's all three of us, and it's a rarity. Yeah.
Can I have us do one thing before we leave?
Sure.
Let's all right now, like on the record, pick a player that we're almost committing as of right now, unless something massive changes for them, that we're saying we're picking up that player in our drafts this year.
Okay.
I'm gonna let Brian go first.
Justin Fields.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need a second, Gut, or do you want me to go?
I want you to go, if that's okay with you.
It's all about Kenneth Walker, man.
Oh, nice. nice.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
D-Hop.
Ooh, see, this is the thing. You're like a gymnast. You do the hardest trick, but you get the most reward if you get it right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the chance of you falling straight on your ass is pretty high.
Hey, you made fun of me for getting him last year, and then he did fucking awesome every game he played for me, and then you kept that same energy every game. I was like, he's doing really good. You're like,
Are you still thinking that if he stays with the Cardinals?
I think whatever team he's gonna go to is gonna be good because the only teams that are gonna want him are probably gonna be ones that want to win. Like if he's on the Bills, he's awesome.
Y'all imagine if he goes to the Chiefs, y'all?
He's on the Chiefs. He's fucking dude. Like third, fourth round.
They will have broken the NFL if they do that.
I hope that happens.
I'm sorry. I know we all need to leave, but I wanted to put that one out there.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Some stuff.
Yeah. Well, there's
me
a
and
lot
me and the Amigo have two high cost things that
Well,
we're gonna have.
Can I pick two more? Because I have two more. I have Jamal Williams. Three more. I have Jamal Williams, David Montgomery, and Kamara. I want to get all three of those guys. I'm logging the cheap running backs.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Mine might be like a maybe fourth or fifth, and yours definitely has to be a first. Yeah. So I think you have the highest one. Yeah, but I think I could probably last it out of the fourth. That's where I'm planning. Yeah, no, like thinking it's gonna go before I've seen any mock draft, any ADP, anything. This is just all me conjecture. I mean,
Who did you pick, amigo?
Fields.
D-Hop.
Fields. That's right. Fields.
Yeah,
fourth,
Justin
fifth.
Fields.
Fourth, fifth.
Justin Fields. Yeah. He's just what. Because here's the thing. I'm pick my guy because I picked it as a player I do not want to be played against. Like Kenneth Walker. I think I could probably pick a player that could probably go whatever. That could probably. I like Kenneth Walker. If I was in the low first, I think it'd be Kenneth Walker over Dalvin Cook, over Derrick Henry, like we talked about. Even who else would you say? Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker over Josh Jacobs. Kenneth Walker over Christian McCaffrey.
No.
Anybody? You feeling saucy? Anybody?
Yeah, I am, because you know what? He's on one of the teams that's the most hardest to predict who's going to get their points.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and if he'll stay healthy. So,
Yeah.
and then Austin Eckler. Yeah, Kenneth Walker over Austin Eckler.
That
Yeah.
depends on where he is.
So
Where he
he's
lines
your
up.
Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker over Jonathan Taylor.
I just
Ken-
can't see the Colts
Kenneth
doing
Walker.
anything else but giving the ball to Jonathan Taylor next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I,
they did.
I agree.
They
Yeah.
did let Matt Ryan go today, so they didn't release him. So yeah, that shows that they're no longer committed to the pass, or are they now?
Well, guys, I actually have to go now.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed what you saw, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. We'll have shows like this whenever any type of information pops. We went a little long. There's a lot to talk about. Make sure to click the bell though. Okay, that's one important thing. Click that bell because you'll get, not only shows like this throughout the off season, you'll get the YouTube shorts when we do sniper episodes, all type of stuff. So make sure you check that out. And also Connor, make sure you check out Connor's book, You Know Too Much, on Amazon. And of course, my show, Dry Time Sports with Charlie and Brian, on High Volume Music Radio from 4 to 6 every Thursday. So make sure you check it out. So on behalf of Connor, Marshall, and I'm so happy to say this, Ethan the Doc, Marshall, thank you for joining us. Hopefully it won't be like another year or whatever before you join us again. It's always fun. And of course, myself, Brian the Amigo Baldwin, want to thank you for watching. And of course, let's just go into the last line, our signature line. Let's see Ethan. Let me see if you remember it. Okay? In fantasy football, as in life.
Don't dream it, be it.
Yay! Like riding a bike.